Drivers and fans have been outspoken about short tracks since last year's debut of the next-gen car, and it hasn't been good. There's been a consistent theme around the car's inability to pass on the shorter tracks. Before this season, NASCAR made changes to the short track package with the hopes of improving their overall racing product. After last week's run at Martinsville, the overwhelming sentiment from most fans has been that the change had little to no effect. It was boring racing with limited passing. Mike Joy disagrees and admitted as much this week on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio. However, he also unknowingly admitted something else, that his employer Fox is a major reason fans aren't pleased with the product because they aren't seeing the action that's happening around the track. While it's not anything official, Jeff Gluck's weekly poll, where he asked fans whether a race was good or not, has provided a good barometer of where fans stand on a race for years. In any given week, tens of thousands of fans answer the simple question. After this past weekend's race in Martinsville, they answered it resoundingly. 37% said it was a good race, which is the lowest rated race in 2023 by a lot. That fan vote came after numerous drivers offered their opinions on the track following Sunday's race, and it fell along similar lines. Denny Hamlin wasn't a fan and said as much after the race.
We pitted, which put us towards the end of those lead lap cars, and cars I just was lapping 10 laps before that couldn't pass them. So it's just, this is next gen racing with these tires and this aero package. You just there's no passing. Obviously we saw 41 dominate the race, and once he got caught in the back, it was it. It's just what we got now.
Interestingly, Hamlin admitted in his remarks how he was able to pass. His JGR teammate Martin Truex Jr. agreed, and after his third-place finish, he was definitive in suggesting the track was significantly better than in 2022.
Oh, it was way better. I think a lot of it had to do with the tires. Track really rubbered up today, and that's what really makes good racing here. When you track rubbers up and you have to move around and the tires really wear out, that's what makes good racing here.
Mike Joy agrees with Truex and disagrees with the assessment of Hamlin and most fans. This week, the 73-year-old veteran broadcaster appeared on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio and talked about this past weekend's race at the Paperclip and the varying opinions of the racing product.
I've been in this sport for a long time, and we know that we have exciting races and we have strategy races. And for the last, since this new car was introduced on the short tracks, we have transitioned from exciting events to strategy events. I think as a strategy race, it was a really interesting event. I kind of disagree with the people that said you can't pass because there were a lot of passes for position. Maybe not so much for the lead, but, throughout the field, there was passing being done. I wouldn't say it was the best Martinsville race I'd ever seen, but I would say it was quite an improvement over last year. The changes made to the car, NASCAR was happy with.
Let's back up a second. Joy said there were a lot of passes for position, but maybe not so much at the front. That comment might sound innocent, but when you take a closer look at it, it's quite revealing and incriminating, quite frankly. What do the Fox cameras overwhelmingly focus on throughout a race? Cars at the front. Unlike NBC, Fox rarely shows what's happening beyond 10th place unless it's a big-name driver making his way forward. In other words, all those passes Joy mentioned happening throughout the field, the fans aren't seeing at home. But that's par for the course with Fox. As we've noted on this channel, the camera people and director have a hard enough time keeping up with what Joy and his fellow broadcasters say and often show one thing, while Joy and company talk about something completely different. Interestingly, this week on his podcast, Dale Earnhardt Jr. revisited the weekend's race at Martinsville and had a similar take as Joy. He said it wasn't a bad race when you compare it to the races in the 1970s and 1980s and thought it was better than both of last year's races. Then the Hall of Famer confirmed what Joy had said about fans at home versus the fans at the track having a dramatically different experience and opinion of the race.
When we're watching a race on TV, there's a lot of things happening that you do not see. And I've watched races on TV. I've been in the booth. I've been at the track. And even our own broadcast with NBC, we cannot cover every single battle and pass. We try our best, right? So I want to err on the side of, hey man, maybe there was more racing happening than we were exposed to. Certainly we knew what was happening up front. Nobody's passing the leader. That's a problem. All right. But maybe there was a lot of great racing that we didn't get exposed to through the broadcast, and so we react accordingly, right? I didn't see a lot of racing. I didn't see a lot of action. I didn't like what I saw. And so just I'm asking people to have a little grace with the idea that yes, there might have been a lot of passing in the field that we didn't witness, that we didn't know or realize. Maybe if you were there in person, you might have had a different reaction to a race than somebody who watched it from their couch, right?
It's hard to argue with Earnhardt and Joy, for that matter. Both are saying the same thing. While not perfect, the racing with the new short track package at Martinsville was improved over last year, and there was more passing. NASCAR is heading in the right direction. Now, if somehow, some way, there was a chance that fans might actually get to see on the race broadcast something that actually resembles what's happening on the track, that would be the ideal solution. FYI, NBC begins its NASCAR coverage on June 25th.